You know, one of the most unexpected heavyweight bouts of the season isn't happening on the pitch. It's happening in the headlines. Wayne Rooney versus Virgil van Dijk has officially become a saga, and we might even be looking at a trilogy in the making. Following that exchange at Anfield, Manchester United's all-time leading goalscorer, Wayne Rooney, has gone back in on Liverpool's captain, saying that Van Dijk needs to stop reacting to outside noise and focus on his performances, especially after that defeat to Manchester City, which has left Liverpool's title defense hanging by a thread. Now, let's be honest, Rooney didn't hold back. He suggested that since Van Dijk signed his new contract, he's lost that edge, that focus. And that's a serious accusation to make, especially from someone of Rooney's stature. But is he right? Or is this just classic mind games from a United legend taking a dig at his old rivals? Let's unpack it. Van Dijk's reaction after the City defeat was clearly emotional. You could see it in his interviews. He was protective of his teammates, defensive of the club, and maybe just a little too engaged with the noise around him. But here's the thing. As captain, that's part of his job. He's the face of Liverpool right now. So when people criticize the team or even his leadership, he feels that responsibility to step in. From one angle, that's what good captains do. They take the pressure off their teammates and face the heat themselves. But from another perspective, maybe that's the moment to stay quiet, block out the chatter, and focus on leading through performances, not words. When you're the captain of Liverpool, defending Premier League champions, one of the biggest clubs in the world, you're going to be under the microscope every single week. If the team underperforms, the questions start flying your way. And that's exactly what's happening to Virgil right now. To be fair, criticism of Van Dijk's performances this season isn't totally unfair. Liverpool's defense has been shaky. Both fullbacks have changed, the goalkeeper been out, and Ibrahima Konate looks like he's forgotten how to pass a football at times. It's chaos at the back. And in that chaos, Van Dijk's form has naturally dipped. He's getting older, yes, but he's still trying to hold a completely reshuffled back line together, and that's not easy. But here, where I agree with a lot of fans, criticizing Van Dijk's integrity, saying he's switched off since signing his deal, that's crossing the line. You can question his form, sure. You can debate his leadership. But questioning a player's professionalism, especially someone who's been one of the best defenders of his generation, that's a step too far. Now, from Rooney's perspective, he comes from the Sir Alex Ferguson era, a time when you let your football do the talking. Back then, captains weren't reacting to every comment or social media post. The manager did the talking publicly, and the captain handled things in the dressing room. So, I understand why Rooney feels like Van Dijk should have just stayed quiet. But football's different now. The spotlight's brighter than ever. Players aren't just footballers anymore. They're public figures, brand ambassadors, role models, and targets for instant criticism. Every tweet, every post, every soundbite gets dissected within minutes. So, ignoring the noise, it's easier said than done. When you play for Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, any of the giants, you can't escape the noise. You can block comments, delete apps, or stay off social media, but the conversations are still happening everywhere around you. You hear it in interviews, you see it in headlines, your family reads it, your teammates talk about it. There's no escape from the narrative. And let's not forget leadership styles have changed. If you compare Virgil van Dijk to someone like John Terry, you see two completely different types of captains. Terry was old school, body on the line, blood, sweat, and tears, leading by example and by voice. He had a whole leadership group around him too, Lampard, Drogba, such players who set the tone for the whole dressing room. Van Dijk's leadership is quieter, more composed, more about calm and control. And maybe that doesn't fit the chaos Liverpool are in right now. Maybe this team needs a bit more fire, a bit more vocal presence, something to shake things up. But again, this isn't just on Virgil. Liverpool's whole structure is off. The system's new, the squad been overhauled, and the chemistry's not there yet. When the team's not performing, leadership gets questioned, even if the real issue is deeper than that. So should Van Dijk have ignored Rooney? Probably. But can we blame him for responding? Not really. He's human. He's hearing criticism not just about his performances but about his character, and that stings, especially when it's coming from someone like Wayne Rooney, who knows exactly how headlines work. The bottom line is this: Liverpool need results. Talk means nothing if the performances don't back it up. Van Dijk doesn't need to win a war of words. He needs to win football matches. Because in this league, you don't get judged on your statements, you get judged on your results. Right now, Liverpool's title defense looks fragile. They're dropping points, struggling for rhythm, and losing key players to injuries. The leadership question is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. But if anyone can rise above it, it's Virgil van Dijk. He's been through worse. And if he can lead by example, get that backline organized again, and tune out the outside noise, even just a little, Liverpool might still have a chance to steady the ship before it's too late. So the message to Van Dijk is simple: less talk, more football. Let your performances drown out the headlines. Because right now, the best way to answer critics like Rooney isn't with words, it's with wins.